It is 6 p.m. in Beijing, 6 a.m. in New York. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is World One, live from London. A verdict in a Chinese court may help determine the fate of the fallen politician Bo Xilai. It is the latest part of a scandal that has rocked Chinese politics for months. Wang Lijun, the former chief of police in the city of Chongqing, was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Stephen Jiang joins us now live from Beijing. Stephen, was this considered a relatively light sentence?
Well, Monita, this is not unexpected, especially after both the prosecution and the defense team argued for
case. But I want to talk to you about something a little bit different. I just want to switch gears a bit here, Stephen, if you don't mind. I want to talk a little bit about reports of trouble at the Foxconn factory. Foxconn, as we know, is a major supplier for Apple products.
That's right. That's another major story we are following here today. And the factory involved is the Foxconn plant in the northern city of Taiyuan.
3 mountain climbers are still missing in Nepal despite 2 days of searching following an avalanche on one of the world's highest peaks. A French mountain guide speaking to the AFP news agency said there was no longer any hope of finding them alive. At least 8 people were killed on Sunday on the slopes of Manaslu, a mountain in the northwest of the country. Bad weather and poor conditions hampered search efforts in the hours after the incident. Early estimates had said as many as 38 people were missing. Now, though, all but 3 have been accounted for. Well, British mountaineer Kenton Cool climbed Mount Manaslu in 2010 and has been to the peak of Mount Everest 9 times. And since yesterday's avalanche, he has been in contact with some of the climbers on Manaslu, and he joins us now via Skype from Kennington in England. Thank you very much for being with us. Talk to us a little bit about the last contact that you had and what you were being told.
Okay, so I spoke to a number of people at base camp yesterday.
In England, and again, just to reiterate what we've been reporting, some of the latest developments on the story. A French mountain guide who was speaking to the AFP news agency had said there was no longer any hope of finding any survivors alive. You are watching World One live from London. Welcome back. Former England football team captain John Terry has quit international soccer, slamming the English football authorities for making his position in the team untenable. Terry's decision comes as he gets ready to appear before a hearing at the Football Association on charges of racially abusing an opponent. What British newspapers are saying about all of this. The Guardian's headline is Terry quits England duty with blast at FA. It goes on to say a guilty verdict would have put pressure on the game's governing body to prevent Terry playing for England. The defender has now taken that decision out of their hands, ending his 9-year international career himself. There is an opinion piece in the Daily Telegraph with this headline, a toxic asset, author of his own downfall. Goes on to say John Terry claimed last night that the Football Association had made his position in the England squad untenable. Nonsense. Terry was the author of his own downfall. Too many scrapes, too many embarrassments. John Terry rang the division bell too often in the England dressing room. And finally, this headline in the Daily Mail, a sad way to retire, but his failures made it inevitable. It's a comment piece that says, sad perhaps, given how often he has performed for his country with distinction, but predictable, given his consistent failure to recognize the responsibility that comes with being the captain of England. Terry was not the victim last night. He has simply jumped before he was pushed. Well, the Football Association hearing is taking place here in London today. Alex Thomas joins us now in the studio with a little bit more on that. Some would say this was expected.
They would say that, and I think
later, but Alex, we'll see you in just a bit. Thank you very much. You're watching World One live from London, and the UN's special envoy to Syria is getting ready to address the Security Council for the first time since taking over from Kofi Annan. World leaders are gathering at the UN General Assembly in New York. CNN's World Affairs reporter Elise Labott is following the story for us. She joins us now live from CNN New York. Elise.
Monita, well, as you said, Lakhdar Brahimi getting ready to brief the council. There's going to be a lot of...
Elise Labott there in New York. Well, the diplomacy staggers on, but it's making little difference on the ground. In Turkey, the leadership of the Free Syrian Army has announced it will move its base into Syria as part of a plan to, quote, liberate the capital. Whole neighborhoods of Damascus seem locked in a destructive cycle of violence. But as CNN's Nick Robertson found out, no one appears to be gaining the upper hand. Climbers are still missing in Nepal after an avalanche struck one of the world's highest peaks. That's despite rescuers ending a second day. Imran, who joins us now live from New Delhi. Sunima, bring us up to date on these search and rescue operations, particularly this latest news saying that there is no more hope of finding any survivors.
Monita, the rescue operation for the day at least is pretty much over. They were able to recover 8 bodies so far.
Right, Sunima Udas there in New Delhi, thank you so much. Libya's military is ordering militia groups to disband and leave major cities or be ejected by force. The ultimatum follows a government pledge to take action against armed groups who are blamed for the deadly attack on the U.S. consulate earlier this month. CNN's Arwa Damon reports now from the city of Benghazi. Officials from Sudan and South Sudan say they are making progress in resolving critical issues that have simmered between the two for more than a year now. Their presidents met in Ethiopia on Sunday to discuss several key concerns. Oil is a vital part of both nations' economies. Welcome back. Former England football captain John Terry has quit international football, and as we were telling you earlier this hour, Terry is facing a disciplinary hearing this Monday, accused of dishing out racist abuse. He says the charge made his position with England untenable. Alex Thomas is here with much more of the sports as well.
Thanks, Monita. Yeah, away from the Terry story, Manchester United boss Alex Ferguson and Europe's captain Jose Maria Alarzábal. Lovely.
We look forward to that. Thank you. You're watching World One live from London. And
goes to Homeland.
The show were also recognized. Claire Danes won Best Lead Drama Actress for her portrayal of a bipolar slave. Wasn't the only big winner. ABC's Modern Family also captured 4 Emmys, including Best Sitcom. 4 of its stars were nominated, including Eric Stonestreet, who won Best Supporting Actor for his role as Cameron Tucker.
We get the
all my favorite shows that won. Well, stormy weather moves into Western Europe, folks. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center with those details. Mari?
Hey, Monita, I hope you brought your umbrella because I think you're going to be hearing the rumbles of thunder yet again there across London. You know what?
Mari, thank you very much for that. And before you go, we want to talk about a kids' game that's usually reserved for the playground, but this weekend, apparently, tug of war was on the runway. This was the scene of Tokyo's Narita Airport. Hundreds of children and their parents battled. Watching World One live from London, I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. Stay with us. We'll update you the news headlines in just a couple of minutes. You're watching CNN.